Welcome, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show. Where have we been? We've been out a little bit. We did take the Thursday off for the Hall of Fame game. Not a super exciting game, but fun to get football back in our lives. I have to admit, in my big fantasy group, I really did drop the comment. I'm happy that there was football. As soon as that ball kicked off, and then like 3 plays later, we had a fumble on Pittsburgh's end. Micah Parsons picks it up. All the ESPN people and Fox people and NBC people lose their minds because you're like, oh, he's the next big defensive star, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, folks, he made 3 big plays. Let's take it easy. Let's not lose our minds. But shout out to the Cowboys. Their offense looked like the Cowboys. The defense did look a little bit better, but we'll get a little bit more into that. But before we do, producer James is in the building, looking fresh, redressed. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
I know it's Monday. I think we all got a case of the Mondays, but I'm going to try to pull it out of you, man.
Today's my Friday.
Today is your Friday. We're going to talk about what happened Saturday night, UFC 265. A little bit of controversy on the entrances with Ciryl Gane. Congratulations as the new interim heavyweight champion, but Francis Ngannou let everybody know who the real champ is, via Twitter, that is. But we'll talk a little bit more as we move on as well. Let's go ahead and pick up off of what's the highlights for today over the past few days. Can we say Josh Allen, a $258 million man with $150 million fully guaranteed? Can I borrow $1? This pretty much sets the floor, I think, for Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson moving forward. And we know Mama Lamar Jackson is trying to do her best to renegotiate the contract for her son. After this deal with Allen, Baker is going to be, especially if Baker goes to the playoffs, if he meets the expectation of a lot of people by making a Super Bowl appearance, he may be a $50 million man. I know I don't want to say that. People may get upset with that, but that's the market. And the same thing with Lamar. Like, what's Lamar going to ask for with his MVP trophy sitting on the mantle there? So it'll be interesting to see how those contracts set out. But shout out, congratulations to Josh Allen, which the precedent was set by Dak Prescott previously. He got $160 million guaranteed. If Josh Allen is playing as well as he's going to play, he's going to earn that $258 million. And they might just throw him another $275 next go around with him being so young right now. So the quarterback market's going to get unreal. I remember when Troy Aikman signed a $50 million deal, which that was like, oh my God, $50 million like in the early 90s, I thought was just tremendously outrageous. And now we're having quarterbacks signed for $500 million. And Patrick Mahomes, $250 million with Josh Allen. And I'm gonna be excited when the first quarterback gets a $500 million contract, like a legit, like fully guaranteed $500 million, like how the soccer players get Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. Let me get it out of my mouth. Neymar, those kind of guys. We're worldwide on this show, folks. I know there's an American flag behind me, but we know a little bit about soccer, or I do. We're gonna get you caught up. The World Cup is next year. Just so you know, the World Cup is next year.
Noted.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you're going to hold on to that one. But we're going to do our best to get you caught up. Any fun things happen over the weekend, Producer James? Anything fun that you wanted to talk about, or anything new you get into? Did you hit the pool? Did you fill up the pool at the house?
Kids are out there swimming today, but I haven't got that much swim time. We're getting ready for school. School starts, next week.
I heard you got a new dog.
Yeah, I did get a new dog.
What kind of dog did you get?
It's a Cocker Spaniel.
Cocker Spaniel. Yeah. Huh? Okay. Is it the family dog, or is it your dog? Is it the lady's dog?
Definitely not my dog. It's the family's dog.
Hey, man, people need lap dogs. They're real cool. They're real fun to just, cozy up with, I hear.
Yeah. He's cool. He's part of the family now.
Oh, it's a boy.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's going to be pissing and shitting on everything.
Already is.
Okay. All right. Well, that's just the way it goes. You got to be a dog person or else you get canceled here. And it's just the way things go these days.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody out there with puppies at home. I think they call them fur babies, but I just call them dogs. So shout out to your pets. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a working dog either. Like if I got a dog, I would get I kind of already know the dog. See, I'm kind of a dog person. I already know the dog I want, and since I have a little bit of space, I'm not in an apartment or anything. I think I'd be able to have that dog. It may scare the neighbors. It's a very intimidating dog, but if you look at me, I was walking through Kreitz, and everybody just kept looking like, who's this big Mexican walking through here? I'm serious. I was walking out of the dining room towards the side exit, and everybody's just like, yeah, well, I mean, big body can't stop me. I'm just saying.
It's a fucking restaurant.
I was like, what are y'all doing? He's like, eat your food. Well, I mean, I had a black shirt on, black shoes on, black cap on, big old black beard.
You going to a funeral?
Hey man, I'm doing it like for Johnny Cash, man. I do it for the people, people in black. That's just the way I rock it.
So I thought you were gonna say maybe I am.
Well, I mean, I have been. Man, I tell you what, if I spend time in the sun, I mean, I get bronze, like real bronze. I have photos whenever I was playing ball. It's like below my knee and below my shirt, it's just like bronze, and then you lift up and it's just like, oh, the brightness. Shout out to the Hall of Famers this weekend. Drew Pearson finally getting into the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Famer Jimmy Johnson, the 2-time Super Bowl champ, back-to-back. One of only 6 head coaches to have that feat enter in the Hall of Fame. I can't go without saying Edgerrin James, Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, Troy Polamalu. I saw Troy's induction last night. It was phenomenal. That's a special human being, for where he came from, what he has accomplished. Very devout in his spirituality, and one of the most ferocious, intimidating, transcendent safeties to ever play the game. No one will ever be like Troy Polamalu. Same thing like Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis, when you say safeties, you say Troy Polamalu. When you say linebackers, when you say middle linebackers, you think of Ray Lewis. When you think of rush, who changed the game, Lawrence Taylor. And then can't forget about Peyton Manning giving up his speech, man. I was like, Peyton Manning could be the president. Just the way he delivered his speech, witty, funny, showed a little bit of actually a lot of emotion. I've never seen Peyton get choked up, and his father was his presenter, Archie Manning, and for people whose dad is like their hero, you get a little choked up, you get a little teary eyed, right? You get a pause, and to see Peyton show like that vulnerability, letting everybody, pulling the curtain back, and getting to see what the relationship is like between him and his father, Archie Manning, I thought was pretty crazy. And then of course, like his son was in the crowd as well as his daughter. And I was like, man, they showed his daughter, and I'm like, Peyton, that's your daughter. Like it's like if you put Peyton Manning's face on a girl, that's his daughter. It was crazy. And but his son, I think his name is Morgan. He looks like his mom. But when his delivery was fun, he closed it very engaging, very unifying. That's the one thing I got. If I had to describe his speech, it was unifying. The way he cared about the sport, the way he wanted to protect the sport and bring everybody to the sport as one. And that's one of the big things I think folks miss out, especially on football. It doesn't matter where you come from. It's a game comprised of every different background, every different belief, every different ideology, and everybody's able to be equal on the gridiron, because it's a meritocracy. It's about what you can do and what you can produce. And I think that was the main theme of all the Hall of Fame speeches that were kind of developed, but or that were delivered. But the one speech that stuck out to me the most, and I'm biased in this situation, was the Super Bowl winning head coach Tom Flores. And Tom Flores was the first Hispanic NFL coach to win a Super Bowl, and this was in the 70s. Tom Flores was the first quarterback for at that time, the Oakland Raiders, now the Las Vegas Raiders. So, and he even signs his autograph. He's like, number 15, the first Raider quarterback, because he was. And he told the story about how he was given an opportunity by the Raiders. At the time, they were in the AFL, and nobody else would give him an opportunity before. But he talks about how his father built a home. They came from Mexico. His father built a home. They picked grapes in the Central Valley of California, and his first home was a dirt floor. And so you kind of see where he comes now, right? Like, you come from a grape picker, dirt floor, to, forever living in the halls of the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, as a quarterback. And so it's pretty fun to kind of see that come to a head. And he's old now, man. He even starts, that's how he started his monologue was, the reason I'm the second presenter here is because I'm something years old and 9 o'clock is my bedtime. Where's my pillow? So he gave his icebreaker, got everybody in the mood and to hear his story. And kind of we get lost on those older guys, right? We get lost on the Drew Pearsons. We get lost on, the Tom Flores of the world. And to kind of see that game played in a different era. Hell, Tom Flores coached in a different era from when he played to where we are today. And so it was excellent to kind of see those people represented, but a surreal moment whenever I think the guys that we're familiar with, the Charles Woodsons, the Edgerrin James, the Peyton Mannings, John Lynch. For me, I remember watching John Lynch when he played in Denver for the Buccaneers. Now he's a general manager for the 49ers. And to see them go into the Hall of Fame and understand even Calvin Johnson. Let's not forget Calvin Johnson, who Calvin's 2 years younger than me and 2 years older than you, 3 years older than you. And so, for him to give his speech and he was very humble and gracious, but also assertive in what he believes in and where he wants to take his life. And he's going to be an activist. He's going to be an activist for phytomedicine and, getting people off of opiates into more plant-based medicines. And so I wish him all the best, but it was surreal to see guys your age go into the Hall and guys you grew up with watching the NFL go into the Hall of Fame, because that's just where it is now. We're coming into a new era with these new players coming in. Now these kids were born in the late 90s, early 2000s now. And so it'll be fun to kind of see how the next generation does it. But shout out to all of those Hall of Famers who went in this weekend. And for the NFL to have two classes, the 2020 class, in addition to the 2021 class, was phenomenal. They were able to handle that. One was Friday and one was Sunday. So good on them for having that done. But I heard Jay Glazer on the McAfee show. And let's just put it this way. The word on the street is Peyton Manning could throw a party that you're not going to wake up early from. So shout out to all of them for getting down and celebrating. And I saw Jim Irsay there, the owner of the Colts, and he already looked about 5 deep, bro. He was slumped in his chair. He had on probably a $10,000 suit, maybe $20,000 suit, big old blue blocker sunglasses where you couldn't see his eyes. And I'm like, Jim, you're looking a little red, brother. You gotta maybe, drink a little bit of bottled water for this one, because I don't know how long he's going to be able to keep it awake there. But shout out to all those people. And, it was fun for me just to kind of see that. And, Jimmy Johnson made it into the Hall of Fame, and he's making it into the Ring of Honor before he died. That was something that kind of came out on the Fox panel. It was all the Fox guys. It was, JB, Terry, Howie, Michael Strahan. And then they had Jerry Jones. In the middle was Jimmy Johnson, and flanking Jimmy was Troy. Of course, all those guys except for the host, and Jimmy didn't have a gold jacket. Well, Jimmy was going to get his. And Jerry said, I got to make an announcement live. And they were going to go to commercial. And Jerry's like, I want to let everybody know Jimmy's going into the Ring of Honor. And Jimmy looks at him and kind of like holds on. He's like, well, I'm still alive. And so it was kind of funny to kind of see that delivery and that exchange. But this to me is an admission by Jerry Jones that he fucked up by firing Jimmy. Whatever egos got involved back then, for him putting Jimmy into the Hall of Fame or in the Ring of Honor, but while he's still living, is a humbling move. And in my opinion, an admission that they messed it up. They messed things up. So hopefully maybe that trio can get back together. Maybe, Jimmy can consult with Troy. Troy will be put in as general manager for the Cowboys, and we'll get a trophy for Jerry. How about that? I think that would be fun before they leave the earth. I'd like to see that. But anything else that you wanted to contribute that you got to maybe see over the Hall of Fame weekend? Anything thoughts?
I wanted to ask you a question concerning Megatron. Who would you rather take, Megatron or Randy Moss?
Oh man, you know what I say when people ask me questions like this? ¿Por qué no los dos? How about both? But if I had to pick, man, who's the quarterback? Because we saw what Calvin could do with Matthew Stafford, and then we saw what Randy could do with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But they couldn't win a Super Bowl. But if I had to pick, I mean, if it's fantasy, you got to pick one. I'm gonna go with Randy. I'm gonna trust Randy more. I think that, and Calvin's been very open about this. He was hurt. He took too much damage. I think for him being nearly 6'6", and probably the only offensive weapon on that team for a long time, and Matthew Stafford throwing balls into positions that most won't go get. And he talked about, that's why he retired early. His body, what he was putting in his system, the opiates he was putting in his system was causing him to have mental difficulties. And I think that if he doesn't play, he gets to heal. And if he's healing, he's not putting things in his body that may impact his mental stability. And so I think that's what's leading him on his journey now. And Randy never got hurt, man. Randy's built different. Randy's built not to get touched. He didn't want to get touched. He'd outrun you or out jump you or just go down. And so it's different styles of play. So, but if I had to pick, I'm going to take Randy. It's pretty easy. For me, it's easy. Yeah. But for most, I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I got asked that question earlier this week, and I was like, oh, that's a good question for the show. But I said Randy as well.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Randy. That's a good question. Yeah. Before we go to break, hey, let me just put this real quick. Before we go to break, you've been telling the people where they can find the Paul Rodriguez Show on other platforms. We had 6 downloads yesterday because of what you're about to tell the people. So shout out to you for getting that done. Shout out to the people who are finding the podcast on other platforms. And before we go, producer James, let them know again how they can find it.
Yeah, and it's honestly really a good listen. Like, I'm not just saying that just because, it's
6
our
people
things.
went to go get it.
Yeah, so just head on over to Spotify. You're gonna search for the Paul Rodriguez Show on there. You'll see this little Paul Rodriguez Show logo, and give us a follow and turn on notifications. Daily uploads. Before we're out of here, we upload it, so it'll be ready to go. No later than 30 minutes after we're done. So yeah, head on over and get that done.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show. That bass line hitting in my ears. UFC 265 this past weekend was fun until the main event, and we all know why. If you don't, you're fixing to find out. Shout out to Vicente Luque, bro. That was pretty impressive. One of the picks that I had selected. Shout out to Tisha Torres for putting on a striking clinic. Although she's known as a grappler, so she put Angela Hall in her place. So, 2 victories, one on the ground and one on the feet. So that bullshit's over. And Jose Aldo, man, talk about that. Jose Aldo looked phenomenal.
Yeah, isn't it pretty impressive? I was impressed.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, dude.
Bring yourself over, man. Let's let the people see.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And even Connor too. Did you see what he tweeted?
I think that's a little.
You're just not high on Connor right now at all, huh? He's been out and about everywhere, dude.
Listen, man. Connor's burned me twice already. Fool me once, like George Bush said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. You can't fool me again.
Fool me, you can't get fooled again.
So I'm done with him. The correct saying is, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Shame on me. So fuck off. That's the way I feel about Connor right now. You're going to have to win 2 big fights to get back in my good graces. And then the fight of the night, Ciryl Gane versus, it should have been Ciryl Gane versus Derek Lewis. I didn't know that he was so favored. He was like plus 350, plus 337. Were you aware of that going in?
Yeah.
Why were you so one-sided on it? Like we had our little exchange. I'm not going to divulge what you said. If you want to, that's fine. But I was watching Lewis, and I'm like, man, he's out of his character. Like, I thought Ciryl broke, and when I saw him come to the venue, Derek Lewis come to the venue and walk in, I'm like, I don't like his face. I don't like it. Was I rooting for him? Hell yes. But when Ciryl Gane came out, and what song did he come out to?
I don't even remember. Ciryl Gane?
Yeah, it was Welcome to Houston, something like that.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was everybody. Slim Thug, Paul Wall, Mike Jones.
That's Welcome to Houston.
Yeah, Welcome to Houston. And I was just like, dude, what a dick. Like, that's a dick move. It's like basically saying, fuck everybody in here and I'm gonna knock this dude out. Which he did. And then of course you had Top's Drop come out. I'm like, all right. But then when Lewis was walking up, I'm like, I don't know, man. His body language didn't look right. To me, he looked like the pressure was too much for him when he was walking up, and then, leg kicks, strikes, athleticism, the reach. He just couldn't get there. And I was like, this. When he kept kicking his legs, when Ciryl Gane kept kicking Derek Lewis's leg, I'm like, this looks like what happened to Rampage Jackson, like in 2005. And I was just like, dude, he's just gonna keep him away. Something I did hear though on Chael Sonnen's show, Chael Sonnen said they were in a production meeting with Megan O'Leary, and Megan O'Leary.
Come on, keep going.
Megan O'Leary put up this graphic. And at the very bottom of the graphic, it said 0 time on his back for Ciryl Gane. And I'm like, when I heard that stat, the first name that popped in my head? John Jones. I was like, who's a super athlete who can keep up with Ciryl Gane, who's the same size as Ciryl Gane, who's just as strong as Ciryl Gane, but who can play on the ground and the feet? And I'm like, it's John Jones. It has to be John Jones. And so this is the way I see it. This is the way I see the future. Ciryl Gane is going to knock out Francis Ngannou, and then Ciryl Gane is going to fight Stipe because John Jones isn't going to be ready yet. And then early 2023, John Jones, it's going to be Ciryl Gane, John Jones. And Ciryl Gane is going to go on this whirlwind, taking the world by storm. Nobody can beat the champion. And then Dana White's going to have John Jones walk in. And John Jones, Ciryl Gane, probably is going to be 3 or 4 fight deal. Because that's how many times they're probably going to want to fight. That's just the way I see the future. So Ciryl Gane unifies the title. Stipe comes back. Ciryl Gane beats Stipe, but I think Stipe's going to try to put him on the ground. But I don't think he'll be able to. And then in walks John Jones early 2023. That's just the way I see it.
I told you that they were talking about Stipe versus John Jones.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. They both like agreed to it.
There's probably a bunch of money on the deal for this fight. That's what the one thing Chael Sonnen was talking about. Francis said no to the fight. In so many ways, he said no to this fight with Derek Lewis. We weren't ready. Well, somebody called Ciryl Gane, and he said, yeah, I'll take the fight. Opportunity came knocking, and he took advantage of it. Now he's the interim heavyweight champion of the world, soon to be probably the unified heavyweight champion of the world. He knows Francis Ngannou in and out after training with him in France. He knows his weaknesses. That coaching staff knows his weaknesses. And I hope they put that fight in Africa. I hope Dana figures out a way to have Francis Ngannou versus Ciryl Gane somewhere in Africa. That would be tremendous for the UFC and that, like getting into that market. You know, we're all going to buy it.
Yeah.
All the Americans are going to buy it. And everybody in France is going to buy it, and Europe's going to buy it. Because now that Ciryl Gane's interim, it's like, oh, he's European now. He's not French. He's European. And so they're going to unify behind him. And Francis is going to be the predator, and Ciryl Gane's going to take out the predator.
You think they'll do add Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington on that card, or is that already set?
I think that's set already. I would say well, here's the thing. Ciryl Gane didn't take any damn damage in this fight. He could fight next month if he had to. He can fight he can fight before 2022. The question is when does Francis want to dance? That's the real question. So I'm thinking early 2022, January, February. I could see it totally going down. Because just putting it out there, Caleb Plant and Caleb Plant, they're talking about November. So it won't be in November.
I thought that got scrapped.
No, it got scrapped from September.
Oh.
Did it get scrapped for November?
I thought it got scrapped.
I checked
completely.
this Friday.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay, I checked this past Friday. I could be wrong. We'll check in the break.
Okay.
But what were your thoughts about the fight with Derek Lewis and Gane?
Man, dude, excuse my language. I thought Derek Lewis bitched up. But that's easy for me to say as I'm sitting at home on the couch.
What do you mean by that? Describe what you mean by that.
First, like he complained, like he was complaining that he got hit or he got poked in the eye, and they showed it like clearly it was a punch to the eye.
It was.
And then he kind of just like it seemed like every time he kept getting hit in the eye, he was like he would just like turn over. You know what I'm saying? Like give him his back, and that's how he got finished. But
right.
You know, I don't know, man. It kind of went kind of how I expected it to, because all that I was hoping for was for Derek Lewis to land that one shot. Right. That's all it takes.
Right.
And that shot never came because Ciryl Gane played the perfect game plan against Derek Lewis. He kept him at bay, kept his distance. They were hardly ever in the clinch.
There was like two clinches, and I thought Derek Lewis would take him down. That's what I was like, okay, he's going to put him on the ground to see what happens. And like Derek never put him on the ground. I think when Francis and Ciryl fight, that's going to be, if Ngannou's ground game is as good as it looked against Stipe, that's going to be his only advantage. It's his only chance to pull out the victory. He's going to have to put Ciryl on the ground and like tie him up. But I don't know what his jiu-jitsu's like. I don't know. We don't know if Ciryl Gane can like, stymie a takedown. We don't know if he can stuff it. Now, he ain't going to be able to stuff John Jones because John Jones is too athletic. I think Ngannou's too big. I think Stipe's too big. And they're not athletic enough, but John Jones is. And that's the fight I want to see now. I don't give a shit about Francis and John Jones. I don't give a shit about anybody in Stipe. I don't care. I'll see John Jones and Stipe. I'll see that, but I want to see John Jones and Ciryl Gane fight tomorrow. I got $1,000 to watch that fight tomorrow if it happened. Just because it will be phenomenal. It would be what everybody was hyping up this fight this past Saturday to be. Bunch of punches, exciting fight. That's what Derek Lewis kept saying. I want to have an exciting fight. I want to have action packed. And that athleticism that Ciryl Gane brought to the octagon, took that shit right off the table. He's just a super athlete. And somebody asked that question. Remember how I said in the chat that Ciryl was like the next evolution of the heavyweights? Somebody asked Dana that question that night. They said, is Ciryl the next evolution? And Dana was like, I don't think so. And I'm like, bullshit. He is. He moves like a middle. And this is what Dana said. He moves like a 205er, but has the power of a heavyweight. And that's exactly what the evolution is. That's John Jones. And that's why I'm like, we got to see these two guys go at it. It just has to be that way.
I don't think does he really have like a one-shot knockout power? Did you
see him make Black Beast cover up?
No, but I'm talking about like a boom, like a walk-off. You know what I'm saying? Like a one-shot, like a one-hit knockout, like cold. You know what I mean?
I think, when he fought Rosenstrunk, he did. He knocked Rosenstrunk the fuck out. And Rosenstrunk was coming from the same background as kickboxing like he does. And that's the thing. He's never lost.
Yeah.
Gane has never lost in his professional career at anything, any level, any discipline. He's never lost. I'm over here like, no, these are the fucking facts. Those are the facts.
Yeah.
You know, feelings don't care about facts, or facts don't care about feelings, rather. This is what it is. But what about that matchup? Who do you think is the biggest threat to see? I'm already crowning Gane, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm totally disrespecting Francis, but I've seen Francis, and the only out that Francis has is to put Gane on the ground, and then I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if Gane has a defense. What if he does, and we don't have any idea because he's never had to use it. You know what I mean? I mean, who do you think? What do you think about the future?
Yeah, I mean, that's an exciting fight, especially because of the fact that they are former training partners. So, I don't know, man. I like the athleticism, the overall, all-around skill set that Gane brings to the fight.
He makes it exciting.
Yeah.
By himself.
Yeah.
Like that fight, if it wouldn't have been for him, it would have been Francis Ngannou, Derek Lewis the first. That's what it would have been. And that's like, I think Derek Lewis overtrained. He looked tired. He looked worn out. That's the pressure. He shouldn't have taken the fight in Houston. Like, and I think this is a learning lesson for him. Is like, some people can rise to that challenge and some can't. And, you know, maybe if it was a different opponent, maybe if it was, you know, if something was different, but you got a super athlete and you're a brawler. And this dude has leg strikes for days, can kick you from anywhere. And Derek was trying to kick him too. Like, he tried to kick him in the head a couple times.
Yeah.
Dude, he can see that coming a mile away. He's used to fighting dudes who can kick him in the face without him knowing it. He's used to that.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll just...
He's like 2 or 3 inches taller than Derek Lewis too?
I think he's like 2.
Whenever they were, had the little face off, I was like, oh, that's a big old boy.
Yeah, he's a big dude. Yeah. He's a big man. All right, guys, let's get into a break. 53 minutes after the first hour, we're going to come back, finish up with some Dallas Cowboys, round out the evening. Is Dak Prescott at risk of not playing? When we come back, we'll talk about it. Welcome back, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show coming out of Studio 44. We left y'all with the question, will Zach be ready to go by the game opener week 1, September 9th against the Buccaneers? Apparently, Jerry Jones let out a little snippet that they had reached out to the Texas Rangers to inquire about the injury that Dak has suffered. And the reason why is because a lot of pitchers have this injury whenever they're, playing for the Rangers. And what they basically told Jerry was, look, just shut it all down so that you don't make the injury worse. And, Dak Prescott has a high pain tolerance. And if you don't believe us, go back to week 5 against the Giants and look at him whenever he breaks his ankle and he just holds it in his hand while, everybody rushes to his aid. So the man's got a pretty high tolerance for pain. What does that mean? That means if you let him, he's going to play through this injury, potentially making it worse and maybe having it manifest into a greater injury midway into the season, early in the season, anytime during the season. And so to not jeopardize it, they're going to just probably shut him down to the preseason, have him ready to go week 1 against the Buccaneers. But I do think Dak plays. Am I concerned? Moderately concerned, just because I think he needs to get hit before the first game of the season, because he's going to have anxiety. Because if you come back from an injury, I don't care what it is, you always have these little butterflies because you haven't been hit at game speed. And with him being, a quarterback, he's going to be protected a lot of times. But once it's live, if you got, JPP, you got Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh ready to go and get after you for the Buccaneers, they're going to test you. They're going to push you. They're going to give you a little jab here. They're going to see if you're going to be, strong, how you're going to feel about these hits. And so I think for him, he needs to get at least one series in a preseason game just to get the jitters out, just to get back into the game, get comfortable, feel the speed of the game. Because look, for those who played, you understand when you go away, the game gets fast when you come back. But when you've been there a while and you've been there for years, the game slowly slows down. It just kind of it becomes normal. It's like if you watch on your DVR, if you put it in fast forward, stuff's moving really fast. And then when you get acclimated to the game of the speed of the game, you hit play and it's just like in normal. That's just the way I can explain it to you. And for Dak, I think he needs that. I think, he missed 12 or 11 games last year. I was going to give him a playoff game, but they didn't make it. He missed 11 games last year. He hasn't played in the preseason. He probably had this little strain in his arm, probably throwing balls because he hadn't thrown for the rest of the year. And so his body wasn't ready to perform at the level he's demanding it to. And now he has this little nagging injury. So, hopefully he gets healed up. I do know, though, week 1, if he's still not healed, he's going to get a little shot. He's going to make sure it feels nice and loose and warm, and he'll go out there and perform just to deal with the pain. But you kind of hope everything settles itself before week 1, and I think it will. Meanwhile, the LA Rams and the Dallas Cowboys are scrimmaging each other over the weekend. And apparently Saturday, Connor Williams, formerly of the University of Texas, now offensive guard for the Dallas Cowboys, him and the defensive player of the year, Aaron Donald, locked up. And, Aaron Donald can be a little bit of a chicken shit. I like the player. I think he's a phenomenal defensive lineman, plays the game the way, you should be playing it. He's Warren Sapp 2.0, just maybe an inch or two shorter. And him and Connor locked up this past weekend. And Aaron Donald's probably 298, but just jacked, right? And Aaron's 6'1", 298. Connor's 320, 6'5". Well, I'm pretty sure they didn't like what they were saying to each other, and Aaron started grabbing the face mask, and Connor started locking up a little bit more, and finally got to the point where a play happened. Connor locked him up. Aaron Donald didn't like it. Starts grabbing the face mask, and Connor said, "Fuck you," and literally slammed the defensive player of the year to the ground as the play went to the left side of the formation, which was pretty intense and pretty damn ballsy, I think, of Connor Williams. There's a clip We should have probably had it ready to go, but that's my fault for not having that set up. And a fight broke out. Practice football has officially began once there's a fight at a scrimmage. So shout out to Connor Williams doing that. It was good to see that type of aggression coming from the Cowboys because we haven't seen that. We haven't seen dudes get pissed off and retaliate. We haven't seen an alpha step up. And Connor's half Hispanic. He's half Mexican. And I think the Aztec came out of him a little bit on that play. So shout out to Connor Williams, not giving a shit who the defensive player of the year was and slamming Aaron Donald after a little chicken shit move. So, tit for tat. It is what it is. The fight broke out. Fight got broken up. Reset. Get back after it. But I'm excited to see what that's going to look like on Hard Knocks premiering tomorrow. So that'll be fun. After the show we do here, I'll probably go and check out Hard Knocks on HBO and see what that looks like up close and personal. But I'll show producer James at the end. But I know you've been looking at training camp. We'll pivot real quick to the Green Bay Packers. Shout out to Tom Dunn. He said that he basically said we need to stop talking about the fucking Green Bay Packers. And he told me to tell you to stop talking about it. And I said, no, that ain't going to happen. I go, you don't have to watch, but I appreciate you watching, tuning in. But getting to the Green Bay Packers, I seen you and you're spreading the love for Aaron Rodgers, how he's dropping dimes 50 yards out. And you're impressed by that, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Because, dude, it's 50 yards out. Drop it into this little net. You know what I mean?
But he can do it over and over. He can do it many times, right?
Yeah.
It's not like just a one-off.
Yeah, he was doing that Saturday night. He did it like 3 times.
Yeah, that's why it's not impressive. Yeah. Because his skill set will let him do it.
Yeah, but
game in, game out, day in, day out.
This is what I thought of. You know how we were talking about that gymnast, Simone?
Yep.
Right? And you were like, yeah, they kind of graded. They're like, oh, well, you're on a whole nother level right. than everyone else. So we're going to look at you different than everyone else. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. From just like, it just goes to show like how good of a quarterback Aaron Rodgers is, does it not? You know what I mean? Like compared to everybody else.
But there's other quarterbacks who can do that.
Yeah, I know. But still,
there's only one Simone Biles who can do what she does.
Okay.
That's where I have a little bit of flaw in your comparison there. And I'm pretty sure there's other people like baseball, dudes who can hit the long ball, the Aaron Judges, I shouldn't reference baseball because I don't know shit. But there's guys who can do a multitude of different things, like Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss, right? Mm-hmm. OBJ, Jarvis Landry, OJ Howard, Rob Gronkowski. Guys who can do the same kind of can have the same kind of skill set, but they can do it day in and day out all the time. To me, that's what's expected of you. Like, if Dak Prescott could throw dimes like that, I'd be like, holy shit, Dak Prescott's throwing dimes 50 yards out. I know he can't do that. That's why, for me, if he did it once, I'd be like, holy shit. Like in this instance with Connor Williams, we've never seen Connor Williams throw anybody to the ground that way, that viciously. And now he threw the defensive player of the year viciously to the ground. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Now, if he starts doing it to everybody, I'm like, all right, Connor, you better keep that shit up because you've set the expectation.
Yeah.
And Aaron set the expectation many times. That's why it was a nut house, a circus show, that he may not come back because they knew what they were losing.
For sure. If Dak did that and you were like, holy shit, I'd be like, Aaron does that all the time.
Exactly. And that's why that proves my point is that for Aaron, it's normal. For Dak, it is not. Therefore, making it exceptional.
Getting paid all that money.
Hey, listen. Wait till Denver comes knocking on the door for Aaron. You think Josh Allen made a lot of money?
I told you, we're not talking about past this season.
I'll help you out even more. Let's say Gutekunst and Aaron go kumbaya at Applebee's, kumbaya at Luby's, kumbaya at insert any restaurant you want. Pop a couple of vitamins, have an easy road, take a little road trip, go maybe in the rainforest in Hawaii, squash all their beef. Gutekunst comes to the table and he's like, whatever Denver offers you, we're matching it. Denver comes with $200 million guaranteed. Green Bay says we'll match $200 guaranteed. We're going to re-sign Devontae Adams. We're going to bring you more weapons. Randall Cobb gets to stay. Bada boom, bada bing. He signs on for 3 more years in Green Bay. Then you're going to be a hallelujah moment. And that's why I'm saying it's good for someone to come after Aaron, because if Aaron wants to stay in Green Bay, which he has said he does, he says he wants to retire a Packer. It's like, by God, if they've already made these concessions for him in 21, it's likely that they're going to make more concessions for him in 22 and beyond. So it's good that there's interest from other teams, because it puts the leverage in Aaron's favor to put the pressure on Gutekunst. So don't judge before I get to my point. That's why I wanted to slow you down a little bit, because I wanted to make that point so you could see it's a good thing.
Yeah. I'm just not looking past,
Fair enough.
season. I'm trying to enjoy the season.
Fair enough.
I don't want to be like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
Well, you may be doing that when it comes to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's going to be at the end of the year. They're going to be, what if it's Green Bay and Dallas? That's going to be fun if that ends up the case.
Yeah.
I doubt it will happen. But if it is, even if it's like a division game, if it's a playoff game with Green Bay and Dallas, it's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a fun show. All right, guys, before we go, Producer James, you got anything for the people? You want to let them know? Maybe is there a new show? Have you found anything? I know you probably don't have any more time as you suck your teeth into the microphone.
Nah, I don't think I've watched anything new, man. With my time, I've been trying to just chill out, play some Apex Legends and all of that.
Yeah, what are you doing with that?
Just playing, trying to rank up, all that stuff. You can head on over to my Twitch channel, which is linked in the description, if you want to go check that out.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. For me tonight, what are we doing tonight?
Monday Night Raw.
No, not Monday Night Raw. I feel like there's something I'm missing. Like, I think there's no tomorrow. I know what tomorrow is. I don't know. This weekend there's going to be some good preseason football. Friday night it's going to be I think Tampa Bay and somebody. Look that up real quick. As we have dead air, I thought you were going to talk about something. They always put the Cowboys like right there in the beginning.
Is that tailored to you?
Is that what?
Is it because it's tailored to you?
Yeah, I think it's also because like these dates are still a little bit of ways out. Buccaneers and Tampa Bay is Saturday. Friday it's Washington and the Patriots. What's going to happen with that?
Buccaneers and who?
Buccaneers and Bengals.
Oh, okay. You
That's
said
Saturday.
You said Tampa Bay and Buccaneers.
I meant to say Bengals. I meant to say Bengals and Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Washington and Patriots. That's Friday. Huh. Is Mac Jones going to wear 50? He still has 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there still 4 preseason games?
No, there's Cowboys and Steelers have 4 only because of the Hall of Fame game. But there's only 3 weeks.
Is that because of the
Extent? Yeah, the added new game. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what that has to do with. So there's Dallas plays. Who does Dallas play? Dang, I hit these buttons and it just all goes away. It's just annoying.
Android.
Hey man, at least I can operate Google Docs without any problems. That's what I appreciate about this one. Cowboys and Houston Texans, Green Bay. That's Saturday. Thursday is Washington Patriots, Steelers, Eagles, and then Friday is Cowboys, Cardinals.
Once the season gets underway, are we going to do like a weekly pick 'em or anything like that?
Yeah, we'll probably do that on Fridays. No.
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
Well, Tuesdays.
Thursday show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. How are we gonna fit that in? Because Thursday football games start Thursday.
At 7.
At 7, yeah. Well, this is what we'll do. We'll give our Thursday pick Tuesdays, and we'll give our Sunday picks Thursdays. That sounds fair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll work it out that way too. You gonna be down to do any college pick'ems?
I mean, I will, but I'm gonna be shooting in the dark for the most part.
Come on. Do get a little research. You do that research like right before the show. Who is favored to win in Cincinnati versus Memphis? Something like that.
Do that dark side topic research. Things to talk about. Hot topics
Who
today.
is gonna win this game? A lot of times you can kind of tell based off like who's favored. Like for the NFL, like the pick'ems, nobody knows what's going to happen until like week 5 because it's just hit or miss until they get about 4 games under their belt because just you don't know. You don't know who's going to perform and not. That's the thing with the NFL. College is a little easier because, you have that. But
I will say I expect or I predict that the Cleveland Browns are going to do pretty good this year.
Why do you say that?
I think they're going to beat the Steelers, obviously, like twice this year.
Oh, they should win.
Yeah.
They should win the division.
Yeah. And, Baker, I feel like he's getting better. And, I just think they were a good team. They honestly should have went to the Super Bowl. But
whoa!
Oh, we'll beat. What did they make it to? Was it AFC Championship or
division?
Division. They should have beat Kansas City.
Why do you say that?
That was that close game, right? Because they just.
Well, Patrick didn't play the last quarter.
Yeah, that's why.
But Chad Henne came in, and it was that third or fourth down play that he ran the ball and sealed the victory for the Chiefs.
Yeah, did what he was supposed to do.
Hey man. You got to give props for Andy Reid to call that play and trusting Henne would get it done. That's the other half of the coin. But I mean, OBJ's back, and I don't think OBJ and Baker do well together. I think that OBJ pressures Baker, and I don't know. I don't like it. That's just me though. But I could be wrong. But OBJ could come out and ball his ass off this year
if he stays healthy.
Yeah, I think he will stay healthy. Yeah. Usually when someone's like out for the year that way, they had probably lingering health issues, and they said, look, let's just shut it all down so we can be healthy for the next year. That's the way I feel about it. But yes, Cleveland's going to be good. Kansas City's going to be good. Green Bay's going to be good. Buccaneers are going to be good.
Dallas?
Man, it really all depends on Dak Prescott and Dan Quinn. That's who it comes down to for them. Can Dak stay healthy, and can Dan Quinn get the defense to play well? Not great, but just above average. If he can get them to play above average, they'll be pretty scary just because the offense is just nuts. But that's what we'll find out. Look, we'll find out a lot about Dallas week 1. We'll find out a lot. If they keep a tight game with the Buccaneers, they're going to be scary. And everybody's going to be talking about Dallas is the scariest team in the NFL. They went toe-to-toe, blow for blow with the Buccaneers. That's what people are going to say. But if they get routed, it's just going to be like, oh, Dallas Cowboys talking all this mess. They're just the same old Cowboys, same old, same old. That's just the way people are going to react about it. Oh. All right, guys, we appreciate y'all watching. Tune in tomorrow. We'll get back into a little bit more of what's going on in the NFL. And then maybe we'll talk a little bit about 266. It's a long way away, but ESPN and UFC already dropped a trailer. They dropped a trailer today for it. 2 championship fights, 2, what do they call it? 2 legend fighters, same card, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I think they're doing the top. Obviously, the 2 championships are 5-minute rounds, and I think the Diaz and Lawler one is as well.
They're going to make that one 5?
Yeah, I think it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You think that's just going to be like it was the first time?
I hope so.
I mean, they're a lot older now.
We got to see. Yeah, we got to see. Well, I guess both fighters. We got to see what Robbie Lawler shows up, and then we also got to see what Nick Diaz shows up.
Nick has 5 years of worth of chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, for sure.
He's gonna come out looking to destroy Robbie Lawler.
I hope so. I mean, I know that the Diaz brothers, they stay active, doing the triathlons and all that shit.
That's nuts.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Ring rust. I don't know.
All right, guys. We'll tune in tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about it. Until then, we're going to take a 22-hour break. And when we do, we'll be here with you. Vince McMahon leading us in. We're out.